And finally, we haven't done a little drag race update in a little bit. So y'all continue to watch this season.
Yeah, I've been
Oh, yeah.
watching. Yeah.
How y'all think about Group 3?
Okay, I'll say this. Dewan, didn't you say you were excited for Acid Betty?
Yeah, I was excited for Acid Betty for sure, and I do feel like she's being a bit overshadowed through the competition.
Are we watching the same show?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why, you think she being too much?
Child, she look a mess. She doing the most. It's just. I mean, I will say that besides Ginger Minj, she's doing better than all the other like early season girls. But
that's what I was hoping for. And if you'll remember, my comment was really more about not that I think that she would win, but more that I was optimistic that she would be outperforming some of the other earlier season queens. Mm-hmm. And I think she's been able to do that.
Yeah, I will give her that. But other than that, girl, she look a mess. I don't know. I just she do. This group has been a little bit of a snooze, if I'm being honest. I will say that I was really surprised by Ginger Minj. Like I just started like 4 years ago with Drag Race. Yeah. So some of these girls are new to me.
You don't know the historical Ginger Minj.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate that she said, do I really need to reintroduce myself? And I said, you know what? I can see why you had that type of energy because she's good. I like her. She's funny. She's funny. And she's the type of drag queen that I like, that I tend to lean more towards. The type who, they're funny, but they're not over the top crazy like a Jinx Monsoon or that clown looking one. I forget her name. But... y'all know which one I'm talking about too.
I don't, but I'm living for
the one with the baloney. The one girl that I really hate the most.
Jimbo.
Jimbo. There you go.
I'm sorry. Just the optics of us having this conversation, all wearing wigs.
I know. That part. True. You're right. But still, just not my type of drag queen. And I also don't really care for the girls who all they do is split here, death drop here, twirl here.
That's why Denali lost that.
Exactly. She really did. Like, there is a way for you to captivate and capture an audience without doing all that. And to me, that is the essence of a true icon.
Well, that's why Ginger Minj ended up winning this week's lip sync.
Exactly, but
to be honest with you,
but online the girls have been heated. They've been mad, and it's the same thing if you think about the previous season where the girls were mad that Anya won over Jules, and again because Jules was doing the split, she was doing all the stunts and stuff like that, and it's like some of y'all are so bland and so unseasoned that you need that to be entertained.
I blame it on Drag Race, quite frankly.
Go ahead,
Boo.
No, you blame it on Drag Race. Yeah. Continue with your thought.
I do, just because I feel like a lot of folks before Drag Race never went to a drag bar. And so they didn't see the plethora and the range that drag queens have always had, especially the old school queens and the ones that could just stand there and don't have to do the kicks and all that stuff, like a Jinx Monsoon. Mm-hmm. Not that she can't. Like, Jinx every once in a while would throw a little something in there, but for her to stand there from A to Z, not have to do a single kick, not to have to do a single split, is of drag that we've seen our whole lives. It's just like if you only know drag from Drag Race, you expect the woo, what, the wow, da, 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 all crazy, and that's what I blame on Drag Race. It's just like the people watching this show, the bulk of them at least, the middle of Americas, they don't go to a drag bar, and if they do, they go to drag brunch, and that's what it is. It's the hoopla.
I think I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think a lot of these kids put more focus on performance than captivation. And the thing about a drag performance, not just performance of any kind, but a drag performance, is that the real essence is to embody embody the spirit of the song. And that's why when you had Latrice Royale performing against, Lil What's Her Face that was twirling around, with her hair all undone and barefoot, whatever, because she embodied the essence of the song. And what I don't get me wrong, Denali did a phenomenal job of performing.
Absolutely.
But girl, she was on Adderall. She had 1,000 different moves. There were no peaks and valleys to her performance. Right. And what I loved about what Acid Betty, if I can go back to Acid Betty, what I love about what Acid Betty said in her confessionals is that Ginger Minj is the kind of seasoned drag queen that the way that she is delivering the song invites the viewer in. And that's exactly what we saw. Every time that Ginger Minj, for as many kicks and flips and twirls and dips and da-da-da-da-da that Denali was doing in the background, she was a background girl. Yeah. When you saw Ginger Minj on the screen, you were captivated because she embodied the essence of that song. She gave you nuance. She didn't have to do all that. And there was one part where I can't remember what Denali did, but she did something where she pointed to the ground and then Ginger Minj looked at her and she went,
right.
Did that too. Like girl, what is you doing?
Girl, you don't need to do all that.
But that's the nuance. That is the nuance. And I have to also say that out of all the girls that were in this bracket and potentially out of all the brackets, Ginger Minj is the only all-star that is on this All-Stars.
I'm gonna give Bosco her flowers because Bosco was eating in Group 1, and
Aja.
I'm still on the Aja trains, but I still say
All-Star.
This is a season of All-Stars. This is a season of All-Stars. Yes. They've been there before. This is an All-Stars of All-Stars.
This is RuPaul's New Stars.
This is All-Stars. So I would say that Bosco is up there for sure because look-wise and full package, absolutely.
I'm not taking away from Bosco, but when I consider her to be an all-star, I would not consider. I would consider her to. Level. I would consider her to be a new star, and then I would consider a lot of the others to be a lot of them others.
To me when I would say honestly, even though I'm just meeting her, I would say more like she's more one of those iconic one of those ones that you would never forget. Stars burn out, right? So that's why I'm not saying star. She's beyond a star to me. Personally, because she's been doing this for so long, right? So that's just my take. But
and I know people always kind of read Ginger for always coming back, but there's a reason why she comes back.
Yeah,
you're gonna get good TV. Rue adores her, and it gives you a sense of the different variations of drag, and it's getting few and far between now because all these new stars want to do the hoopla or just want to be the pretty girl. And so I'm glad that Ginger said that they reached out and said, hey, they probably saw the roster and said, hold on, it's all a lot of 2-1 lane. We need to show the professionalism that is drag as well. And I'm glad that Ginger didn't say, I've been there 3 times already. I ain't going to do that because they're going to be reading me. A, she likes the competition. She wants to win. But then B, again, I like seeing some of those queens that just show I can stay in here and win this lip sync without having to do a single thing like that. And I appreciate that. So and Ginger's just always been so consistent every fucking season. So she's in a different level.
I can always pick out not necessarily the winner, but the winner to me of a lip sync performance. When you have a girl that is unbothered by whatever the other girl is doing on the stage. Because oftentimes what ends up happening is they're comparing themselves to each other. And by doing that, you've lost the fantasy of what you're trying to deliver. And what I appreciate is Ginger is able to go in and out of, she sees what the other girl is doing, but that doesn't break her character. And she just delivers. I mean, listen, Alyssa Edwards, who recently won the world, whatever, itchy itchy hoochie 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 hoochie, whatever, they call these titles and bullshits. She has been coming back for decades. Yeah. So, like, I don't blame somebody like a Ginger Minj for this being her 4th, 5th, or 7th, because at the end of the day, for me, I feel like she's coming back because she wants to compete. And from day one that she walked through the door, she was ready to compete, and she had a target on her back. These other girls want to be Ginger Minj, and they want to beat Ginger Minj because they know that she is that chick.
Yeah.
So by the time this episode comes out, and maybe we put this portion out early, I don't know, we'll figure it out. But obviously Ginger's in the next round.
Yeah,
there's no way for her not to be.
She got 47 points.
Oh, she's a girl. So did, won everything. Got coin too at that. Who's coming with her? Denali right now has 3. Diabetti I think has 2, and then the rest of the girls have 1.
I see.
Who's going with her? I
see Denali is going in because she has, even if she doesn't make any more points, it would be really incredibly difficult for any of the other queens, just from a points delivery standpoint, unless they get into the top to beat her out. And again, you've got 1, 2, 3 queens that all have 1 point at this point. So even if they get a win, they would have to not only win the challenge but also win the lip sync in order to beat Denali, and she's still at 3. So she's going to be in there regardless. So it's really going to be up to the other 4 to see how are they going to do this. And quite frankly, I'd be very curious to see how they end up divvying up the 4 points that they have for the people that aren't in the top, because at that point you have to say, I know I'm not going to be that girl, so who are we going to put our coins behind?
Yeah, well, Acid Betty had mentioned to the girls with 1 point, was saying, hey, we should fuck shit up and we should all go behind one girl. So I'm expecting that to be the case.
But who?
And I don't know who it would be.
Especially because I think they thought maybe Denali wouldn't get in there, or Ginger. Now that Ginger ran off, they're like, damn, this might fuck it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Denali won.
So I think who do you put in there?
Yeah,
do you put Alyssa Hunter? Do you put Cynthia Fontaine? Do you put in what's the other Betty? Diabetti?
I don't think they would go behind Diabetti just because she's been stirring the pot a little too much. So I feel like she may have burnt those bridges to be the one that they choose to go behind. I could see them because of how Acid Betty has been with the girls, them going behind her. And it being Acid Betty, Denali, and Ginger Minj that go on to the next round. That's
I will say, and I know you haven't been watching that long, I have not been a fan of Diabetti because a lot of just
that was my first season.
Up.
That was my first season because that was the Sasha Colby season. That was my very first season.
And so I was not a fan of hers at all. I think she shows up. There is something rank about how she shows up, and it's just not likable. And she is talented. Talented. She has all the goods, but there is something not likable about her, and I don't know what that is. I can't put my finger on it.
I think she's still not comfortable with herself, quite frankly.
I think you may be right.
Whenever someone's like
comes across, there's an insecurity that's there. And what I will say is I appreciated that there was a moment of vulnerability that we got to saw with her this week. And if you watch Untucked, that it gave me a sense of okay, I can fuck with you now.
Yeah,
because
I agree with that statement.
There was just something very divisive about how she shows up and how she kitty cats with the other girls, that I can tell was coming from a pleasant, somewhat pleasant place, but also from I'm gonna cut you down because that's the only way that I can feel better about the drag that I'm doing, and that's just never really cute. But I feel now more she's had a little bit more of a redemption as a result of her untucked confession about feeling so alone and not having any friends, and part of that is your fault. You gotta own the piece that you playing at, but
because of your rankness.
I also want Acid Betty to go on because I feel like Acid Betty was probably one of the only girls besides Irene the alien that would go tit for tat with Mistress. Like both of them two aren't with the shits. They're very direct girls.
That would be good.
So for TV wise, like I would love in the next round to see Irene the alien, Mistress, and Acid Betty just
go at it.
Yeah.
Child, that would be good. That would be good.
Low key, Mistress almost didn't make it. If she didn't steal that point, she would have made it.
She wouldn't have made it.
Honey, that was good. Talk about good TV.
That's the trick of this whole season.
That was good TV. She said, I knew she was going to be a fake bitch and not give me her point, so I'm giving my point over to this other bitch over here. So I'm still going to top, bitch. Yeah. I was like, you better play that. I know the viewers were pissed, but I don't give a damn.
It was good TV. I was slightly pissed, but it was good TV. Like I could see both sides. I was like, damn. But
you playing the game?
Who's gonna win this season?
But if someone do that shit to you though, you ain't going.
Oh, I'll be fucking
exactly
burning this motherfucking set down.
Exactly, we fighting.
Burning this shit down. I'm stealing your wigs. I'm stealing your kitten heels.
Look, I'm a one up you.
I'm from Chicago.
Yeah. What you mean? Calling me still? Oh, you still my sis? No. We ain't sis. We ain't shit.
No. I know that's a moment that I'd love to see Jarrell on that show.
Yeah.
Low key, I kind of wish they only did this like once, and then maybe they might switch it up like again for the next season, because like it's so. What makes this season so entertaining is the fact that this is a whole new way of looking at the competition and how they are competing. And I feel like if they do a rinse and repeat, then the girls that have watched this season play out are going to come in with strategy that is just not going to be as entertaining, in my opinion.
I agree.
But
so who's your top three then? Who do you think is going to make it to the top three?
I think Ginger is going to take it. Wait, you mean out of this bracket?
No, out of all.
Or just the whole show. Now that we're going into like the rest of the competition,
I think Ginger's going to take it.
You think Ginger's going to win?
Yeah. Yeah, it's Ginger for the win for me.
I'm going. I think Ginger will win as well, if I'm being 100% honest. And if you look up her glow up since filming.
Oh, it might be.
It's really good.
It suggests that she got coin. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, then.
Okay, it's suggesting that she got a pretty little penny, and she said what? Okay.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I want Ginger to win. I wanted Ginger to win her last season, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Ginger, like you said, Joel, is like just the quintessential drag queen that you just. Yeah. That's drag to me. That is drag. Not that everything else isn't drag, but that's drag.
I want her to win, so then that way when there's another season of like All Stars winners, that she is on that, because that would keep her in.
Fifth time,
bitch.
Damn.
I mean, but that would be great though. Like that would give her another reason where it doesn't seem played out. It'll be like, has she been that girl? She is that girl, and now she's where she's supposed to be with the others.
George has been on there about 95 times, and she only 24. So you're right.
But not of All Star winners that we had.
Yeah. No, I'm all for it,
because I feel like that needs to be. I wouldn't say the next All Stars, but at least 2 All Stars from now. They need to do another All Star winners.
Yeah, I agree.
They'll do another one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's Ginger. It's Ginger's to lose. I'll say that.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
Like
too.
obviously, I don't know what twists are coming up. I don't know,
because Ru always got something.
But it's Ginger's. Yeah, there's always something to be like, damn, that fucked up the game. So there's always something, but it's Ginger's for sure to lose.
Yeah,
Mistress always finds a way to get in there somehow, some way. Like she's gonna.
I feel like Mistress is there purely for entertainment TV purposes. Like she gives great TV. She's a great performer and a competitor, but at the end of the day, I think she's there to mix shit up and keep it interesting and funky.
But there could only be one girl from each group. So in group 3, I think it will be Ginger. No matter who goes on of the 3 from this round, Ginger goes on to the finale.
Yep.
I think of group 2.
Oh, so wait, hold on. So it's only one girl from each group?
From each group in the next round.
I thought like
No.
Oh, see, I thought it was like 3, 3, and 3, and now it's like 9, and it's just regular
it's
rules.
3,
now,
3.
whatever.
Yeah, it's 3, 3, and 3 for each of the brackets, and one of the bottom queens will be selected from each bracket by the judges.
No, if that's to the final, and it's not each round girl. Right. It's one girl out of all of them. They kind of almost pick one girl out of all of them will come back. So there'll be 4 in the final. That's how it goes. So it's 3, 3, and 3. The winner of each of those go to the final, and then whoever gets their name picked out of each of the judges will go to the final round. So there'll be 4 in the finale. So that last girl isn't coming in the next round. She comes in the final round.
Yeah. So you're saying we don't have 9 more episodes?
We do not have 9 more episodes.
4 more episodes?
It says July 16th is the finale.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's only 4 more episodes. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like,
so that makes interesting.
So
I thought it was gonna be like 9 episodes now. Then, like it's back to like a.
Yep. So it'll be one of each one. So I think it'll be. Ginger Minj would be the one from group 3. I have a feeling that it will be Mistress because somehow she'll mess around and back to
the TV.
Yep, absolutely. And then number 1's gonna be tough. Number 1 is tough. It can be any. But I think it's gonna be Irene the alien though. I think I have.
She has been a sleeper.
I have a feeling
well, she came in as a sleeper. Now
I have a feeling it's gonna be Irene the alien that goes from group 1, and I only say that just because Bosco.
You think she's gonna beat out Aja?
Yeah. Damn. Aja made it by points being given. Bosco and Irene right out on those, and Irene the alien was in the top all 3 fucking episodes.
Sure was.
So, track record so far, it says Irene the alien is the one from that bracket, and she won that bracket. So I'm just saying.
It's gonna be interesting. I'm slightly excited, and I can't remember saying that for a drag race in a minute.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, hold on, this is okay. Good job, drag race. This is a nice little twist, baby.
But again, this is why I hope they don't repeat this because like.
Yeah.
Now people then because they're already showing.
They'll be scheming.
They're already showing the people that are picked for All Stars 11. So I just feel like if they keep this exact same format, it's just not going to be as entertaining. It'll be fine, but it won't be as entertaining. Part of the entertainment factor is that we don't know how this is going to play itself out.
Exactly.
I disagree.
They don't know how it's going to play.
I disagree, and I just think of like any March Madness tournament. Like every sport has a tournament where it plays out bracket styles, and although you know how a bracket works, there's still some shit that always happens. There's still always underdogs, etc. And I like the rinse and repeat of it because now that means like girls have to truly come correct, and you got to outright win. You no longer paying, let's be friends, let's be Miss Congeniality. That's not going to be enough. You have to come in being that girl, and you really have to have a cleaner game. So the next All-Star season that I want to see of All-Stars needs to be like this.
Yeah.
I will tell you.
There's something about like the mini, it's just like the 3-3-3.
Yeah.
That is almost feels like it's almost like a new season each time, which is kind of refreshing. And so I'm sure they'll probably maybe do a variation of this. It might not be exact. They never do like exact, or if they do, it's like 7 seasons down the road. But I think they're going to realize, however they broke this up like this to make it feel fresh and new, there's going to be some variation like that. I like it, but I think I'm with the one that they're not going to do it though.
I know.
I tell you what,
it might be something that we're like, damn, I didn't even see that coming. So
regardless of whatever they do in the next episode or the next season, what I really appreciate, like watching the second episode of each bracket, the competition switches on, and I'm telling you, this hoochie smooch or whatever they called this episode. The lyrics that they wrote for them damn songs, like I'm gonna suck the chrome off of your
off your Halo
exhaust pipe or whatever. I don't know what they said, but the lyrics and the characterizations that they brought to the table, and the level of performance that they brought, the choreography that they brought to this, like I was just like, ain't no way they came up with this on their own, but they did, and that's the kind of shit that I want to see. This second week killed it from a performance standpoint.
Yeah.
Killed it.
Absolutely agree.
Good job, Drag Race. You know we be doing this for a while. You ain't never heard us this excited collectively.
And you know, here's another thing that I like too. Ain't no goddamn chocolate bar. Ain't no goddamn dunk.
Yeah.
Ain't no
gimmicks.
Oh
no
my
gimmicks.
God.
No
Yep.
gimmicks. We don't need
Yep.
gimmicks.
Yeah, I
Competition.
really
Kobe
like
tries
that.
real name, no gimmick.
Competition is what these queens need. Because honestly, that's how you weed out the fakers from the winners.
Yep.
You need to bring out the competition. And if you didn't come into this, like when you just look at some of the outfits that some of the queens brought, you like, some of these queens came to slay, and some of these queens came to play.
Yeah. I'm low-key excited to see how Butthole does in the next round, too, by the way. I'm excited. And by the way, I didn't say this last week. Met Corey King, by the way, in person.
Oh, did
The
you?
makeup in person?
I saw
The
that.
makeup in person, and your boo Bruno too. Bruno looked at me in my eyes. I said, "Don't look at me that way." I said, "Don't do that to me." I was like, "My husband right there. Don't look at me that way."
And he handed you the condom, didn't he?
Baby, it was the Trojan. It was like because they had like the Trojan marketing thing going on, and so he's like, "Here you go, baby." I was like, "Ooh." I was like, "Do we really need this?" Oh.
She said she take her daily pill.
And meanwhile, Corey's in the background taking pictures back there. I need to post those pictures too. But anyway, Corey King's makeup in person, actually pretty stunning. And met Lana Jarre, even though we kind of met her in like the Glam Awards.
Yeah.
Like talked to her for like a good 20 minutes, and she might be coming on the episode soon.
Yeah.
So we'll
Good.
get that
Good.
squared away.
Yeah.
Her makeup was stunning in person. And I was
She's
like,
always
Lana,
like,
you're fucking
so beautiful.
Her makeup is woo.
Yeah.
Top tier. And then hey Lux, saw Lux too as well. But yeah. So sorry, homegirl Corey King. Tall as shit too. I was like, okay, y'all taller than I thought. But anyway, and community, on that note, wash your hands, you lazy ass. We'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Or some of us will be. I'll see you next week. They won't.